Hi everybody. So today I would like to make a video about my experience of spiritual awakening, or where I'm at in my journey, and the words that came in over the last week to to name the experience that I have at the moment is filament. The word popped into my head after a very intense session with my therapist, and I wanted to share this word because it may capture your experience of life. And so I'll put into words what that is for me, which is, as I peel away the layers of protection, the drinking alcohol, the eating sugar, various behaviors, and I'm coming more into contact with my experience of life, my feelings, my sensitivity. I'm becoming more and more acutely aware of this super sensitivity that I experience. And the fine wire at the center of a light bulb, that's what it feels like. That's what I feel like. I am so emotionally sensitive. So ever since childhood, I knew that I was highly sensitive to criticism. The slightest sense of it was so painful. And I'm coming back into connection with that super sensitivity and naming it in my sessions with my therapist, putting it into words, and understanding myself more, understanding why I had the need to go up into my head, to spend, a long period of my life compulsively thinking and analyzing and going around and round in mental circles. But it was like it offered me an opportunity to escape from this super sensitivity to life, my experience, my emotions, and also the super sensitivity to the emotional temperature in the air, the emotional temperature of other people, how deeply I feel that. So the thinking, the overthinking, was a really effective way of disconnecting me from that. So now I am coming back into contact with this filament that I am, this wire, this exposed fine wire through which emotions travel, my emotions and the emotional vibrations of life around me. And it can be painful at times. It can be so overwhelming. I'm so overwhelmed by noise. And I have found being a parent extremely challenging because I am super sensitive to noise. And I probably always have been, but I'd set my life up in a way where I could minimize it a bit. And of course, then becoming a mother, there's no avoiding it. When my children were younger, they're now, a little bit older, but when they were very young, they wanted to fill all available space with noise, and I found that completely suffocating. But I didn't understand that at the time. All I knew was I was reacting all the time to stop doing that, shh, stop, rah, just constantly spiky, constantly reactive, constantly feeling overwhelmed, like really overwhelmed. And my only unconscious way of managing that was to try and shut them down. And obviously I don't feel great about that, but that is now I recognize where that was coming from. So I can be a bit more compassionate towards myself for those behaviors. They were unconscious, but it was all an effort to create safety for myself, because that bombardment of sensory information, noise, mess everywhere, toys everywhere, especially those toys that made really annoying noises. Meep, 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 meep. Oh my God, that's my head. My head would nearly want to explode with the sensory overwhelm and the chaos and the lack of control, I'm very much aware now of my need to control everything. My environment has to be completely tidy and no shoes just lying out in the middle of the floor, or everything has to kind of be tidy, because that's how I am how I have managed the sensory overwhelm, by being very controlling of my environment. And with kids, obviously, it's very difficult to have any control over all that stuff. And so, yes, now I can see why, as the sensitive filament, life has at times felt overwhelming, and particularly motherhood, and particularly single parenting, because there has not been an opportunity. There is no downtime. My ex-partner lives in a different country, so really for extended periods of time, for 2 years during COVID, myself and my younger children were in this house, with no getting away. And when they eventually did go to see their dad in a different country, I described to my friends the refreshing silence. And it was at that point that I realized, oh, silence and solitude. It is so essential to my sense of calm, safety, equilibrium. And there was no space in that early motherhood phase. There was no physical space. There was like constantly somebody sort of hanging on to me. My children didn't just hold my hand. They kind of they needed to pull down to feel kind of weighted or anchored or something. They were kind of, so, oh my goodness me, it was like physically, emotionally, and sensorily, if that is even such a word, my senses were completely bombarded in every possible way. So now I'm really coming back into connection with that sensitivity, and I can just see why life has been so challenging. And now as I sense myself as this filament, and my mind is quiet, not always obviously, but at times my mind is quiet, the vibrations of life, the noise of life, the emotions of life travel through me as this filament without me trying to shut them down. When I'm able to allow intense emotions to move through me, they are so intense. I feel it so powerfully. And even though it's uncomfortable, there is an ability to just allow it, and then it passes through. And then there's a kind of restful phase, and then the next wave of sensation and emotion passes through. So that's my experience of life at the moment. I'm in connection with myself as this filament through which life is passing. Life is passing through this sensory channel. So if this is you, if this resonates with you at all about where you're at, this kind of awakening to life, this exposing yourself to life, I'm feeling you. I'm really feeling you. And I know that it's not easy to experience or really feel life on this deep level. It is so intense. But I really hope that you are able to, as I am at the moment, trust that this is exactly as it's meant to be. Because I really believe this is exactly as it's meant to be. All right. Bye for now. Mwah.